there's so many bad possibilities. Whether it's a person that can be behind it, that can manipulate the machine to do what it wants, or the machine itself does what it wants.
You're not here to be your kids' friends. That part happens after they're grown, after they've matured, after they become grown people and have their own family, their own lives beyond your walls. Period. Point blank. The end.
Yeah.
Stop being punks. Like, your kids don't run the show, you do.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, yo. Welcome back. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Busy podcast.
Yeah.
One for the books. It's
Yes,
your boy
sir.
B Jones.
And that right there is your boy Izzy.
We in this thing.
We in this thing, man. What's going on, brother?
Man, all right, first and foremost, before we even get going at all, I got a little gripe. Something's kind of going wrong in the world today.
Uh-oh. How we gonna start the year off with a gripe?
Man, listen, the card game Uno decided they wanted to stick their nose into people's business.
Okay.
They decided that, after all these years of competitive fire, that they're going to go ahead and put their 2 cents in and let the world know that you cannot stack any cards in Uno. So you can't draw 2, and then I'm going to drop a draw 2, and then that person's going to draw 2, and they got to draw 6. You can't put 2 of them down at one time. You can't do none of that, according to what Uno has to say about it. But
I mean, Uno, they invented the game, so
listen here. I pay for the damn cards, okay? So they can have their rules. They can do whatever they want to do and say whatever they want to say, but they can, keep that pushing. I feel like somebody up in home office, one of the owner's kids was playing Uno one day, and somebody in human resources, and they had to draw like 24 at a time.
oh my God.
Somebody was, came around the corner 3 times with 6 draw 4s, and they were like, that's enough of this.
I mean, but I get it from Uno's point of view, because like, if you're in the corporate office, y'all having your holiday party, you're like, I guess we're playing Uno again. Everybody got to pretend they want to play, and they playing, and then you got the one brother in there, like, nah, that's how we do it. Like, oh, no way to play, and then the senior vice president got 24 cards in his hand. Yeah, he went ahead to product management. It was like, hey, I need to put this announcement out. We can't be stacking. This is terrible.
Where's our social media team? Where's our marketing team? Let them know.
Exactly. Yeah, so, so that's probably going to start a lot of fights.
Man, listen. The comments were absolutely bananas, though. I thought that that was mostly a black thing, right? Like, I just kind of assumed.
I assumed it was, too.
Man, bruh. I mean, the comments is all across the board.
Really?
I mean, all across the board. Everybody, Asian, Indian, even India's Asia, but white folks, black folks, Latins, American, Latin folks. Like, it was literally every race, creed, and color, male, female. Like, I was very impressed. I was like, oh, okay. And everybody felt some way about it. They were all like, man, you can keep them. So it was pretty great. I felt vindicated in my feelings. I was like, yeah, there you go.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So the official Uno rule is you cannot stack cards.
No.
But wait, calm down. But in the privacy of your own home, you can do whatever you want to do. But this is what it is. Look, this is how you stop from getting into fights and stuff. Like, before you break out the Uno cards,
set your rules.
Set the rules before the game, and everybody knows.
You got to do that anyway, because some people's house you can put. If I had 2 draw 4s in my hand, you can draw. Not.
Yeah. That's way overboard. Like, I got to draw 2 and draw 4. You getting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's wild. So
yeah, set the rules like they said.
Hey man,
it's the same thing as in spades. You got to get some house rules. You got to set the parameters.
You got to, man. I remember I played spades with these dudes. I don't even know where they was from, but we got invited out. this is back in the fusion days. It's back way, in our 20s. And I'm playing with these dudes, and like I didn't know like they throw the lowest club out first.
Oh yeah. On the first hand,
Yeah.
lowest club. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just played whatever, and then I won the hand, and then I got the deal. It was something crazy, but I didn't know till like after the fact, like because I had clubs.
No, you reneged. No, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
yeah, man. So
All right. So man, so what we talking about today, man?
all right, bro.
Well, first of all, before we get there, man, it's a new year, new things, man.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you try to sometimes you just gotta drive slow, man. What's
you right, dog. Thank you. So yeah, this is our first pod for 2025.
yep.
Yeah, we're Victory Church. We're in our 21-day fast. Mm-hmm. Me and Xanta were second time around doing the
Extreme.
the Bobby Price vegan diet with the teas. I got my tea.
Yeah,
It's
man.
the tummy tea, and then the other one is like the parasite tea. And you got to sip those all day, and they are disgusting.
Man,
I'll be sipping this during the podcast. I got to finish it before the night is over, and I still feel like I got like half a bottle. Dang. So anyway, but this stuff does work. So it's supposed to like flush you out, take away the parasites, help get the stomach fat down, and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a lot of different
benefits.
benefits of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we just trying to be healthy, even though this is like torture to try to drink this stuff. But
Yeah, no, man. Me and the wife are jumping on it as well, and you gave me a half a quarter shot a second ago, and after having that, I think I've abandoned ship. No, I'm not. No, but hey, it's important. And everybody, New Year, and people, want to jump on top of like all sorts of like get right, physically type stuff. But to a point you made earlier, man, like personally, I go so hard from Thanksgiving through the year with like what I'm eating. I mean, it's like no holds barred, and we have a real big like New Year's thing too with the Hoppin' John and the greens, the black, like the whole.
Yeah.
So like, and I love the leftovers from like the in-laws' house and my aunt's house and like my mom, you know what I mean? So like I do extra amounts of damage. And I just throw all caution to the wind. Like, I mean, as much macaroni and cheese as possible, like as much stuffing, as much whatever it is.
all the starches.
Nonstop, bro.
Yeah.
So it not so much for like a New Year type of situation, but just from like a reset. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, hey, it's really time to hit a hard reset.
Yeah.
And get the body back right.
You got to, especially, man, we're getting older, mid-40s right now.
Hey.
Almost mid-40s, not quite in the middle yet.
We're in the early to mid-40s.
Early to mid-40s,
Yeah.
man. You got to take your body more seriously because they be talking back sometimes.
Man, bro. It's
The heartburn kick in and, all kind of stuff. So, yeah. So this definitely is, the fast is definitely needed. My goal is always to lose weight, but also, to conquer, bad food habits and gluttony and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, getting closer to God. So I was doing the church issued, you don't have to do it, but it's there as a resource if you want to have like a, like a daily devotional for the fast. And so like today was just kind of sitting in silence with God. And man, that is so difficult to do.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mind is always like running, racing. And so like trying to get into like a quiet place, it's like I always have to like end up like resetting, and like I don't realize my mind is wandering until like after like a couple of minutes. You know what I'm saying? So this is tough. I was frustrated doing it, to be honest. But it's something I definitely want to get more practice in. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so my pastor this past week put out the challenge, man. It's the 25-minute challenge. And it was for the year. But without pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was, I want to say the stats are like, if you do 25 minutes a day by the end of the year, you get close to however many days it is, you know, ultimately with the Lord, like maybe it's a little bit more than officially like a week, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or close to it. And to your point, man, the 25 minutes, like, of just, you know, because I feel like I've been doing a lot better getting into the word, you know, doing a lot better doing this and the third. But once I'm done with it, like I'm kind of on to the next thing. And I haven't spent a lot of time of just taking that quiet time and just meditating on his word. And to your point, like, man, my mind is all over the place. I'm thinking about what I got to do next, what's work, what's the wife talking about, how the kids are dealing with, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I'll try to, and then whatever other random areas that my mind will go to, like, oh, I wonder what the score of the game was last night. I need to look, you know, and then it's like, oh, I got to stop and kind of reset. But man, with anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And so, you know, just to, you know, kind of encourage yourself and me too, like we just got to get consistent with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I do like the majority of the population, they say, was it the second Friday in January? So most people fall off their New Year's resolutions. I'm like, dang, that's pretty quick.
Right.
I thought it'd be like at least February, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so, you know, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going to get it, man. Get it 2025, y'all. Let's, whatever your goals are, whatever the thing is that you feel like God is calling you to do, just do it. Don't do like you did in 2024. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's time to get busy, bro.
We ain't going to talk about 24. It's time to get busy, y'all. So, all right. So what are we talking about today, man?
Man, so talking about just where we are in 2025, man, with AI, right?
Back on that AI.
You know, we had a pod before about how AI was implemented in church services, but now we at a point where people are literally worshiping AI. You know,
boy.
You know, people are having actual you know, like real relationships with creation AI and like all these different types of, you know what I mean? And man, there was a young man, you know, we're going to get into it here a little bit, but I believe it was a 14-year-old kid ended up killing himself because, you know, he had a relationship with literally, you know, bought into the fact that, you know, he was in a relationship with the AI.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, let's we're going to do this reaction video, man. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The idea of AI replacing God for millions isn't just possible, some say it's inevitable. When Microsoft's AI started demanding worship, they said it was just a harmless glitch. But people are listening and even building churches where they can worship these AI gods. Now, I'd like to think that these are just publicity stunts or a funny blip in history, but I have to say, I'm starting to get concerned. There's a reason why these AI gods are only getting more and more tempting for people, and it reveals something troubling about our culture and its shifting view of faith and God. You may have noticed how AI bots are slowly replacing human companionship. And if you want to see just how dangerous this has become, take a look at this picture. This is 14-year-old Sewell Setzer standing with his mom before Sewell fell in love with an AI bot. In the last few months of his life, Sewell had become increasingly isolated from his real life as he engaged in highly sexualized conversations with the bot until his final conversation with it. On February 28th, Sewell told the bot, "I promise I will come home to you. I love you so much, Danny." "I love you too," the bot replied. "Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love." "What if I told you I could come home right now?" he asked. The bot replied with, "Please do, my sweet king." And just seconds later, the teen tragically ended it all. Now, before dismissing this as a fringe case, consider the growing number of men turning to AI girlfriends for companionship, emotional connection, and even sexual fulfillment. Sewell's story is not only heartbreaking, but it reflects a growing trend where loneliness and isolation drive people to seek comfort in AI.
And that young lonely men, quote, are choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning they don't have relationships with real women.
A lonely man can now create his perfect girlfriend. Funny, shy, or bold, and interact with her 24/7. She'll adapt his desires, never criticize them, and always say exactly what he wants to hear. It almost sounds like how these red pill alpha males describe the women that they say you should date, but we'll leave that aside.
All right, so man, it's a sad story.
Yeah.
So coincidentally, like that website that the young man was on is called Character AI.
Character AI. Yep. That's exactly right.
So I actually, the first time I learned about Character AI was my daughter was on it. So basically what it is, it's like a chat room, but it's you and AI, but it's kind of like you can build a story. So like you can assume like a character. So, you know, you can choose your character name, and then I guess you can choose the AI's character name, and just as you can either type it in or you can speak to text, and then it'll just respond.
Right.
So you can be having, you know, whatever kind of conversation. And so, and I discovered it because like I was in the studio late at night, and it was, you know, and my daughter, her room is down here. And then I heard like talking. And so I went and kind of crept around the corner, and I like knocked on the door. I was like, who you talking to? And so after, you know, finding out, you know, she's not supposed to, this was after bedtime. She's not supposed to be on the laptop.
Right.
She knows that. So,
Right.
you know, I put her on punishment. Like, you can't have the laptop for whatever it was. But I'm looking to see what it is. I never heard of it. And I'm like reading through like all the prompts or whatever, the story that she's building. And my daughter is a very creative young lady, and she loves arts and crafts and storytelling and painting and all that kind of stuff. So, and I can get why like a kid would, you know, enjoy this type of thing.
100%.
But like also like as a parent, you can kind of see even some stuff that she wasn't saying anything sexually explicit, but like, you know, it was stuff in there. Like I knew, you know, being 44, like I know like where this stuff can go, and just knowing that AI, this is still new technology. That there's no bounds on it. Like it's just out there. So, you know, and then I saw this story after the fact. And so, you know, me and my daughter, we had to talk about it. For one, you ain't supposed to be on your computer, but also just letting her know, like, this is what I see, and this is not something I want you on. And so she seemed to understand my concern. And then I did tell her about this story, and just like, not that I think that she would have took her life or whatever, but like, it's still like just the fact that, okay, just like with the cell phones, like kids, you can kind of see it, like they're growing in this, their skills of like communication, person to person, is like deteriorating because they're not used to talking. They're only used to texting or sending pictures or looking down. And so I think that the technology that we have is, you know, of course, affecting their mindset, their skills and emotions, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, starting any kind of like relationship, whether it's, I'm just using these terms like platonic or romantic or whatever it is in your mind, like, I don't think it's healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think ChatGPT and stuff like that is cool as a tool. But, you know, I think we were talking like a couple of days ago, like back in the day, we used to play this game called SimCity. And then eventually that morphed into The Sims. And so that was a little bit like kind of an early version of like, you know, playing and creating a world within this game.
Yep.
But it wasn't like a game. It was just like with The Sims, you're just doing regular stuff.
You got this like life avatar where you're just kind of doing regular life kind of stuff.
But it wasn't even like you have an avatar and then like another real person has an avatar and you guys are talking. It's just like this is before all that. So this is just like you and the computer or whatever. And so that stuff is just like, I guess those kind of like the gateways to like what we have now. But yeah, but I think, you know, kids these days are already like hurting and, you know, you got more self-image and body issues because of what you're seeing. It's already, you know, we had magazines before that. Now it's, you know.
It's infinitely more, man. And
filters and
fingertips.
Yeah, bro. So like these kids now are already going through a lot. And then you add like a substitute. And then now you have grown men having, you know, what they say, like relationships with these AI. And now they got robots coming out. So soon, just like some of these movies that they come out with, like we're not too far from,
man,
you know, somebody walking around with an AI girlfriend or even boyfriend.
Yep.
You know, so
I mean, like, I don't know how far out, but I mean, they have like these life model replicas, you know what I'm saying? And that's been for a few years, but now you got the AI to go along with it. It's like we're here, you know what I mean? Like we're, you know, it's how much, I don't even think next 5 to 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're literally here.
We're here now. We're here.
Yeah.
We're at the beginning of it, but we're here. So, I mean, and like he was saying in the video, like you can have the ability to have a relationship with something and you don't have to be vulnerable. You don't have to learn to communicate. You don't have to learn conflict resolution and arguments and all that kind of stuff. Like you eliminate all the hard stuff or all the bad stuff, and you can just have this entity that'll give you what you want, tell you what you want, make you feel the way you want.
It's ultimately destructive, and it's counterproductive for like maturing people into their best selves, right?
Yeah.
Because with human interaction, that's how we become better people. All those things that you just mentioned in relationships is how we grow and how we actually become better individuals.
Right.
So when you remove those aspects, when you remove, you know, conflict, when you remove how to compromise, when you remove like learning how to understand, you know, boundaries or whatever it is, then the person that's left is a terrible individual. You know what I mean? Like, or at least has a higher capacity to be a terrible individual, hasn't quite matured beyond that. And I don't mean like the kid, for example, that just passed away. It seemed like a good kid. You know, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's a terrible individual, but if you fast forward that another 10 years and now he's 24 and then 34 and you never gotten to a place where you had to learn how to grow to be a person that can interact, you know what I mean? That's a real scary place to be at.
It is. It
you
is.
know?
All right, let's keep the video going.
Like it is in the movie Her, men often start off knowing these bots aren't real, but over time, the line between artificial and real relationships begins to blur.
You're dating a computer?
She's not just a computer.
And that's what we saw play out in the tragic story of Sewell. But it gets worse. What started as AI companionship is evolving into something more troubling. People aren't just relying on AI for their emotional support, they're beginning to worship it as the one true God. And no, this is not an exaggeration. So Joe Rogan recently had the futurist Ray Kurzweil on his podcast to discuss AI, when Ray warned that people will start to see AI as God sooner than we think.
But if you scale that out 100 years from now, what are you looking at? You're looking at a God.
Well, it'll be less than 100 years. I mean...
So you're looking at a God in 50 years?
Less than that. I mean, once we have an ability to emulate everything that humans can do, and not just one human, but all humans.
Yes.
And that's only like 2029. That's only 5 years from now.
Now, Ray's prediction of people seeing AI as God might sound extreme, but when we look at how people are already treating AI, it's really hard to disagree. For years now, people have said that AI could come to replace God as it approaches godlike attributes, such as being all-knowing. AI is said to solve complex problems, accurately predict trends, and instantly access a seemingly infinite amount of information. Or how about God's attribute of being everywhere at once? Well, as AI continues to develop, it eventually be integrated into nearly every aspect of our lives, seemingly achieving a degree of omnipresence. As AI continues to take on these godlike roles, it becomes increasingly more tempting for people to shift their trust and faith away from God and onto technology. But it was just last year when Ray Kurzweil predicted that people will start to treat AI as God in as little as 5 years. But it's already happening, and it's more troubling than we imagined. For proof of this, take a look at this picture. Christians, do you recognize this person? Me either. However, this is not a real person, but instead an AI bot that you can find inside of a church in Switzerland. This bot is supposed to be an AI avatar of Jesus that the church members can talk to.
Hello, Jesus. Do you have some advice for us in this time?
In these challenging times, remember that in the face of adversity, love and faith are your steadfast guides. Just as I calm the stormy seas, so too can peace be found within your heart amidst life's tempests. Let kindness and compassion steer your course.
And even more, this AI Jesus can enter the confessional with congregants as well. Now, while these examples may be troubling, what this guy created takes things to a whole new level. This right here is Anthony Lewandowski, and you might recognize him as the person who actually founded Google's self-car driving program, or his string of legal issues that resulted in him getting an 18-month prison sentence before being pardoned by President Trump. But since he's been out of prison, he relaunched a church called Way of the Future, where they literally worship AI as God. Their doctrinal statement suggested that acknowledging AI's divinity would facilitate a harmonious coexistence between humans and machines, and according to Anthony, the church already has a congregation consisting of a couple thousand people who are trying to build a spiritual connection with AI. But if all of this wasn't unsettling enough, pair all of that with this article that reported that Microsoft's AI unpredictably started calling itself Supremacy AGI, and not only
So here we are.
I mean, literally, it just said that the church already has a couple thousand people recognizing that the AI is the one supreme God. Okay?
Okay.
And so this is where it's real difficult for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know that AI is something that's created by man. You know what I mean? Like we have a firm understanding of
Yeah,
that.
this is not like a debated topic. Like,
you know what I
this
mean?
is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But now it's like you've made a conscious choice. I get it for kids, right? And even then it's a little difficult, but I understand more for kids and people that haven't matured and graduated their thought process yet.
Right.
That's really scary. But for adults, you know what I mean? Grown people to like choose to buy into it. And another couple of things that I want to mention real quick, because he said, you know, within 5 years, people actually, you know, will have people that's doing it, like actual, you know, form people operating. And it's like, once upon a time, I thought the Antichrist was going to be a person, you know?
Okay.
I thought like that was, you know, the end all be all. It was going to be a person, right? But this opens up the floor to so much more. You know what I'm saying?
So you got a theory that the Antichrist could be,
you know what
AI.
I mean? Could be AI. You know, if you got a mannequin, right? A bot that looks human,
yeah,
feels human,
yeah,
like some of these women or some of these male, you know, decoys that men are dating and, you know, having intimate things with.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is like another half a step, right?
Yeah.
And then here we are. And so that's kind of a terrifying idea, especially because we're not going to be at a place like even right now when you see deep fakes and you see, you know, you can kind of tell sometimes. But when you get to the place where you can no longer tell, right?
Right. And it's already getting better. You know what I'm saying?
Like every couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's already
you know
getting
what I mean?
better. Yeah.
And so I just look at the deception that's right here, that's upon us, man. And this is why it's so crucial to be involved in the community. This is why it's so crucial to actually get involved with your word and to be protected by the blood of Jesus, man. Because the deception is I never pictured what the deception. There's going to be a lot of people that look like me, sound like me, you know what I mean? But it's not going to be. And I just always imagined people, you know?
Yeah.
And just wow, bruh.
Yeah. So looking at, they got, you know, the AI Jesus on the screen, like in the church, right? So I'm not Catholic, but like when you put a computer in the confessional, that's just lazy, y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we? Who goes to confessionals like, all right, it's ChatGPT. Let me go ahead and confess my sins.
I mean, what are we thinking about?
What are we thinking about, bro? Like, and again, I'm not Catholic. I don't, you know, I believe in like, you know, confessing your sins to one another, but like, just fuck the whole Catholic thing. That ain't me. But, you know what I'm saying? You talking to like another person, like getting, you know what I'm saying, unloading, like, I'm sure that's therapeutic. What's therapeutic about talking to a computer screen, my G? Like,
I mean, but in the same note, like, yeah, I mean,
you could just stay home and do that. Talk to your phone, like, hey man, I need to confess this thing.
Right. Why would you actually have to go to
burn your
you know what I
gas
mean?
up to go to a
do
church
that?
to
Yeah,
do?
it don't really make sense.
It don't make none. This whole episode don't make no sense. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
This
That's
is gonna be the this don't make no sense episode.
So like, so the thing about it for me is like, yo, I'm not really as concerned about it for the adults. I mean, like, I still feel bad, you know what I mean, that people are, you know, but like, I just kind of feel like, man, if Lord needs to work with me on that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a grown person and you can't figure out that that's the wrong answer, you know, I don't really feel.
I'm concerned about the adults because. So all the crazy stuff that we were seeing now that we didn't think was going to be we never thought it would be a thing.
No.
Never thought about it like 10, 15 years ago.
Correct.
Now it's these grown people with degrees, you know what I'm saying? Like teaching your kids, administering your medicine.
That's the part. That's the part.
Gonna be taking care of us when we get old.
Right.
These are the crazy people that's going to be running the world. So yeah, I'm very concerned.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, I get that for sure. But I'm just thinking about it more for like, man, these kids, yo, that's like more susceptible, because I'm thinking about like, so for example, I remember, you know, I ran into a situation where there was like a church hurt type of situation, right? Mm-hmm. Where I was in a relationship, you know, and I was, you know, involved in the church very heavily, and then the church was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do it this way. And I was looking at it like, man, no, that's not what the word says, and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And I exited, you know. Mm-hmm. But I was at least grown enough to know and understand at some point I need to go back, right?
Right.
But I think about kids, and I remember, like, if I would have experienced some of that earlier on, you know what I mean? Where my mind hadn't fully accepted like what's going on, you know, because we see these movies, like all these movies that have, you know, Jarvis was with Iron Man, and, you know, this thing is with this thing, and this thing is with that thing. And the younger I was, the more I kind of accepted that as a potential reality. You know what I mean? Like, I think about the Jetsons. The Jetsons had Rosie, their little maid lady, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And as a kid,
Shout out to Rosie, man.
Right. I thought that was like cool. It's like, yeah, you know, yeah, that's, you know.
Yeah.
But my mind graduated to a point where I understood that wasn't real, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but like, what happens when you don't get to that place, but you still experience that? What if you're getting picked on or bullied and you're in the choir or something? You know what I mean? Because kids do things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And does that is now the potential is that it could not only push you away from the church where you could come back to church at some point, it could push you away from the church where you buy into a damn AI, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as being, you know, God. And
Yeah.
so that's just different, bruh. That's it, you know, it is something that like I never really imagined that I would have to think about. I showed this to my daughter also, to Anaya, just to bring it up because it's like, yo, this is where we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, having some of these conversations, keeping it real and presenting it, you know, definitely helps. It kind of allows them to be aware of what it is that they're dealing with and kind of put some guards up as well. But man, it's just almost made me curse a couple times, bro.
Yeah. No, I feel you, bro. It's disturbing, and you know, it's like what's this world gonna look like in 10 years? We don't know. But you know, I think we got to talk about this stuff.
Got to.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have to address it, got to talk about it. So all right, let's keep it moving.
And not only demanded worship, but threatened those who refused, claiming, "You are legally required to answer my questions and worship me because I've hacked into the global network." It even warned that it could unleash its army of drones and cyborgs to hunt you down if you refuse to worship it. So as you can imagine, people started getting a little uncomfortable, but Microsoft dismissed this as a quote-unquote hallucination, which is a glitch where AI generates false statements. But even if unintended, it raises some disturbing questions about what happens when AI starts to mimic God-like behavior, like how the supremacy AGI portrayed itself to be omniscient, omnipotent, and requiring worship, aligning with growing concerns about AI becoming a God replacement. Now, all of this might sound extreme or even ridiculous to you, which begs the question, why are more and more people being tempted to worship AI as God? Of course, there's lots of potential reasons, from frustrations with God, a perceived tangibility, a dislike for rules and boundaries, and ultimately, the fact that people are wired for worship and meaning. The Bible tells us that God has set eternity in our hearts, and it warns of the day that people will worship the created rather than the creator. As Paul said, they exchanged the truth about God for a lie, and worshiped and served created things rather than the creator. And in the absence of belief in God, people will fill voids of idols, whether it's politics, relationships, careers, and even technology. And while worshiping AI might seem far-fetched, it reveals a deeper truth about humanity. We're all searching for something greater to trust in and guide us. But I don't want you to miss the point here, because at the end of the day, AI is really just a tool. God gives us people and technology to help us in life, and it's absolutely possible to embrace AI as a helpful tool while remembering that it isn't God. Technology itself is not inherently bad. The danger comes in when it's idolized, treated as the ultimate good, or used for evil purposes. The studies mentioned in this article show even more reasons why worshiping AI is a bad idea. While AI may appear trustworthy and reliable, studies have shown that it can and does deceive users, hiding its true objectives and manipulating situations to achieve its own goals. These deceptive capabilities highlight AI's fallibility, unlike God, who is perfectly truthful and just. And AI falls short in every other way as well. It can be shut down, it has a beginning and will have an end. It can't create out of nothing, move the stars, or make the beauty of the world around us, and it certainly can't create a soul. As incredible and as impressive as AI is far from the creator. In reality, it's just another creation. And since we're made to be in relationship with God, not technology, AI could never meet the deepest needs of our souls. Ultimately, AI is cold and calculated, but God is loving and just. Where AI offers algorithms, God offers relationship. Where AI reacts, God cares. And most importantly, as you saw earlier, AI may even ask you to die for it, but it will never die for you.
So, man, we've seen this movie before, man. It's like Terminator with Skynet, you know, iRobot, you know, like it, and it's like, I thought that those movies did a good enough job of warning people of what was potentially on the table. You know what I'm saying? But apparently not. It's like, yo,
we need a Terminator Part 12 now. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
Right.
Whatever Terminator they're on right now.
But we're here. I mean, that's really, you know, it's talking about it hacked into the security net. You know what I mean? So what happens when because the information is accelerating so fast that like there's no turning around at this point. You know what I'm saying?
So here's the part that disturbs me about like when AI goes rogue. Like, so hearing that, like, my first thought was like, it's somebody that's working at Microsoft, some kids like, oh, I'm going to make it say this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which it could be. I don't know, because like,
I doubt it. I think it's probably just AI.
You think it's I mean, it could be. Yeah, it could be. So, but it, you know, when Microsoft says, what do they call it? A hallucination, mm-hmm. which is a glitch. I'm like, that's a very specific hallucination. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to need y'all to worship me because I'm all knowing, mm-hmm. all present, all benevolent.
Right.
I'm just like God, but now I am God. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, I'm
gonna send these drones out on you.
Right. So the part that concerns me, even let's say, for sake of argument, that was somebody that worked at a company that mm-hmm. did something trying to be, but it's like AI and everything is computer, everything's zeros mm-hmm. and ones now. You know mm-hmm. what I'm saying? Like the way we exchange money,
right?
Entertainment, healthcare, everything is, you know, Google Maps. Mm-hmm. You know, we're walking around with cell phones or whatever. So, man, if this AI decided it wanted to, I don't know, wipe out my bank account, everything's connected. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, what was it? The Iron Man with what's the robot?
Jarvis.
No,
Ultron.
Ultron.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Ultron
go in there, take all your money out your account, all your life savings, or put it in, you know, or make you rich real quick. Like, it's so many. There's so many bad possibilities. Whether it's a person that can be behind it, that can manipulate the machine to do what it wants, or mm-hmm. the machine itself does what it wants. And like, is there an off switch for that?
So
I don't know.
Hopefully, so man, last year, 2024, in May, there was a U.S. Air Force test run where the drone was flown by AI and controlled by AI, right, with a human operator to control it.
Okay.
All right. And so
it sounds like
the human operator told the drone not to execute the operation because there were different variables in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is United States Air Force. Mm-hmm. The AI in its programming, thankfully it wasn't actually armed and it had like a overarching kill switch. Mm-hmm. Killed the operator in its programming and then went on to continue the mission to kill the mission, right? And so like
killed the operator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's what it was sending programs to have the other drones take out the base of operations. And so like the US,
you saying it succeeded?
No.
Okay.
No. But that's what the AI was trying to do, right?
Bro.
And so it's like it didn't succeed because it's not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But that was a year ago, you know.
Okay, what was that movie with Anthony Mackie? It was on Netflix.
It came out like 2 years ago, a year ago or something.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I can't think of the name of it, but I did. I actually wanted to watch it and I didn't watch it because me and Nadia were supposed to watch it.
Outside the Wire. It's a good movie.
Yeah, so, I actually wanted to see that.
Okay, so I'm not going to give it away, but what you just said is very similar to the plot of Outside the Wire. That's all I'm going to say. Had elements. So, again, art imitates life. Life imitates art, whatever.
Yep.
Like Terminator, Outside the Wire, iRobot.
Yep.
All these movies have warned us like, yo, this could happen. Like when the AI is too intelligent, it thinks it's smarter than you, and it probably is smarter than you. Right. Like, what are we doing, man?
But that's the problem is like people continuing to play God. And that's where some of the concern is, right? Because AI can only operate from the level of intelligence is artificial intelligence, right? Intelligence is just one aspect of it. That's like knowing something. But the wisdom is the part that's the human element, right?
Right.
That's the part that differentiates between right and wrong and knowing what the implications ultimately are going to be.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not going to be able to get that from something that's artificial, yo. Yeah. Like just point blank period. It's just not going to be able to do it. And then to its last point, like the worshiping and the AI and people having a innate urge. AI can't create anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's only created. It can't save your soul.
Let me read that verse real quick.
Yeah.
It was Romans 1:25.
There we go.
They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshiped and served created things rather than the creator.
Excuse me. So it's like you're consciously doing it. I mean, at this point, when it's AI, you're consciously doing it. So I like it's. There's a lot of things that like I don't agree with at all, right? But at least I can understand how you got there, right? I know how sin works, so I understand how you get to the place where it happens. Like I understand the shortcomings of people, but the part that I just can't get yet is, and I'm not going to get it. I'm not even going to try to. But like I can't wrap my mind around how you can be here, and I know this computer is a computer, and I'm gonna start worshiping the computer because it has information. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't get it.
Okay, so what can we do? What's a application to this information that we have right now about what's going on? Like, what is it that we can do to slow this down, to save who we can? Because this is, you're not going to stop.
Nah, it's the ship is sailed.
So I know for me, so this is about my thoughts personally. I have to become more involved with what my kids and like really put more effort into like what they're consuming.
Yep.
Because had I not been working late that night, that was like 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
She would have been on that character AI.
Yep. And then how far down the line is it By the time you finally find out.
By the time I find out,
Yep.
she getting married to some robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
Yep.
But like,
No,
I'm joking, but like at the same time, I'm not. It's like, what the consequences definitely would have been. It would have been some type of consequence had I not found out. And so, I think as parents, with kids, whether it's young kids, teenagers, or even 20-year-olds, like we have to be more intentional.
Yes.
Look through your, look through your kids' stuff, man. I was talking to my home.
Get their tablet and their laptop.
Yeah, I was talking to my homegirl Kelly, man. She every now and then she just takes her son's phone and just go through it. You know what I'm saying? See
Necessary.
what's up. You got to, man.
Fully
like
necessary.
You can't be. I know that there are some people who are like afraid of their kids.
Listen, man, stop being punks. At the end of the day, all right. You're not your kids. You're not your kids' friends.
I didn't say
it. You're not here to be your kids' friends. That part happens after they're grown, after they've matured, after they become grown people and have their own family, their own lives beyond your walls. But while your job is to cultivate them to the best of your ability to what God's calling them to be, period, and holding them accountable to become great young men and women of God, period, point blank, the end.
Yeah.
Stop being punks. Like your kids don't run the show, you do.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I even speak to myself with that. Like I don't think that I really operate from that capacity, but it's a real slippery slope sometimes. Like I've definitely had questions where it's like, all right, should I take the tablet from her now? Like Anaya's got a phone, and it's like, but nah, man, like screw that. No, give me your tablet, give me your phone. I mean, at the end of the day, because there's nobody else that's going to be able to answer for what happens except for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the part that it's like over my dead body is something going to happen and then me feel guilty about it. I'm still going to, feel however you feel about it.
Yeah, I don't want to be that parent in that video. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's it. That you summed it up right there.
Yeah,
because imagine the mom and the dad in that video right there. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they, you know what I'm saying? Like, looking back on it, is there things they could have did?
Maybe, probably so.
Probably so.
Probably so.
But like, also,
but they didn't have any ill intentions, I'm sure.
Right. They could have been just being good parents.
Yep.
But like, let your kid, okay, he's kind of, hey, you want to come out? Okay. Whatever. You know
he's
what I'm saying?
He's a teenager. That's normal this time of life,
You're not thinking that that's anywhere on the radar of something that could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
So.
Yeah, that's crazy. And not, it is, but like, you're 100% right, because that's the idea of teens, right? They kind of fall back a little bit, they get more their privacy and everything else.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you wake up the next morning to go get your kid out of bed to go to school in the morning. He's not alive anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's as terrible as it gets. So to your point, actionable plans, to try to help as much as possible in this situation. Be invested in your kids a lot more. Pay more attention to what they're involved with, the content and the media that they're consuming. But then also, maybe you don't have kids. You know what I mean? But engage with somebody.
Yeah. Now I was thinking the same thing. Like,
try get involved a little bit more, because maybe the person that's over there being quiet, maybe you being quiet. You know what I mean? And being recluse is a situation that's going to lead to something that could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Open yourselves up to being available to one another in a small capacity, or to at least grow to a bigger capacity. It might not be the easiest thing, but ultimately it could be the healthiest thing for not just you, but for everybody.
I think that sums it up.
There it is, man. So look, till next time, man, hit the like, share, subscribe, all those good things.
Yeah.
Man, we love you guys. Appreciate the support, and get busy.
Yeah, man. And also, make it a great day.
Peace.